If I let you go, do you think you could fly? Hello, huge movie. As I get out of my kid voice, hello, huge movie fanatic Nate coming at you to review, kind of a retro review, if you will. I'm coming at you to review Macaulay Culkin in, well, you can't really see the title there, but The Good Son. I got this recently, or well, at some point, half-price books for $2, DVD clearance section, and I was interested about this movie when it came out, and I saw it relatively quickly after it came out on home video, and then actually I don't think I'd seen it. I never owned it, and I don't think I'd seen it since then until I recently rewatched it, and I gotta tell you, this is just, more proof to me of just movies being just better, in the 80s, and this movie came out in the early 90s. When did this come out? It's saying 1993, so like I think the following year after Home Alone 2, and movies just, I don't know, they were just so much more mature and just more serious and just all around better in my opinion. And this is a all around really okay, decent movie, and it's kind of short for it's 86 minutes for a movie, like an A movie with stars and stuff. But I didn't know, Macaulay Culkin, of course, was the name that I was familiar with at the time, but the main character in this movie, he's the first billing, but the main character is, how do you say it? Elijah Wood, who I didn't know, of course, would end up not only being a kid actor, but would go on to do other stuff in his adult life and stuff. But of course, since he was relatively new to the scene, probably, I think at the time, I didn't know anything about him at the time, but he's actually kind of the main star of the movie, even though Macaulay Culkin is of course billed first. And he's really good. He plays this kid who, his mom just died, and his dad has to leave at this crappy time because to do this business deal that would set him up for life or whatever. So basically Elijah Wood's character goes and spends winter break with his dad's brother's family, who've got, incidentally, Macaulay Culkin's sister, I presume, is also in this movie, playing Macaulay Culkin's sister. So Elijah Wood's gonna go spend the winter break with this family, his brother and his wife, and Macaulay Culkin and his little sister. And throughout the movie, of course, it's inevitable that, little Kevin McAllister from Home Alone movies is going to end up in a movie like this. And I'm kind of glad they did it. It's kind of cool. I mean, I think it's the only movie where I don't even know how old Macaulay Culkin is in this movie, but you can hear him say the line. Watching the Home Alone movies, you never think you'd ever hear Macaulay Culkin as a child say, "Don't fuck with me." So I'd put that clip on here if I wasn't worried about copyright infringement bullshit, but it's probably on YouTube. If you actually get to hear Macaulay Culkin still as a prepubescent kid, basically, I don't know if he's 11 or 12 in this movie, saying, "Don't fuck with me," and it's just, oh my god, I laughed out loud when I saw that again because I'd forgotten about that. So basically this movie is just follows the progression of seeing Macaulay Culkin's character. He's just a really bad kid, and we find out throughout the course of the movie that he ended up killing his baby brother in the tub by drowning. The mom, everyone involved or everyone in the family thought it was just an accident, when in fact we later on find out that Macaulay Culkin's character killed his little brother, but we don't find that out until later. But the movie is just this gradual escalation of Macaulay Culkin just exhibiting, worrisome signs of this and that when Elijah Wood is hanging out with him and stuff, and the treehouse thing where he almost dropped him, and the quote I started the review with, where "If I dropped you, you think you could fly?" And then him building this kind of makeshift crossbow gun that fires bolts, and trying to. It's funny because they were trying to. I think he basically take the gun out to see if it works or whatever, and he lines up a cat in the sights and he shoots at it and it hits a tree, and he's like, "Oh wow," Elijah Wood's like, "Oh wow, good shot," and Macaulay Culkin's character kind of infers like, the sight's off, like he was trying to kill it and he missed, but later on he'll end up killing a dog with that crossbow thing, which I'm not too sad about because I'm not the biggest fan of dogs, so that scene kind of made me Incidentally, there's a scary scene in here where a dog chases them across this bridge, and that's the same dog that he'll end up killing later on. And having been chased by dogs and just not liking dogs myself, that scene was almost the most horrifying thing in the movie. Is this freaking, mad dog scene chasing these kids across the bridge. But anyway, I lived, I got past it. But I kind of had fun with the fact when, of course, to be honest, well, I won't say that. Okay, I will say that. To be honest, the dog is killed off screen, and I would have preferred them to make a fake mock-up of the dog and see it basically, the fake version of the dog, not the real one. A fake version of this dog be suffering in the movie as he's being killed by the bolt or whatever, but whatever. The dog's killed off screen. So I'm kind of vindictive towards dogs. But you'll notice I didn't want harm to come to the real one, just a fake dummy one or whatever. But anyway, moving on from dogs. Another thing that's really great about this movie is the music by the absolutely fantastic Elmer Bernstein, who did Ghostbusters, Meatballs, and heavy metal, all kinds of stuff from, I don't know, I imagine the 70s, 80s and stuff like that, and obviously the 90s because he did the music for this. But the music is absolutely fantastic. The main kind of theme is really great. There's some stuff where he does, it sounds like Jerry Goldsmith stuff, but absolutely just full, grandiose orchestra, sound. This guy, Elmer Bernstein, I don't know if he's with us anymore or not, probably not, but I mean, he was one of the greats in my opinion, up there with John Barry and Jerry Goldsmith and stuff. He had a really great sound. Oh, he did the music for Saturn III as well, which is a movie I've reviewed the movie and the Blu-ray of years ago too. So that's another strong point of this movie in my opinion, is the score is absolutely fantastic. So that's basically the movie. It's just, as so many times in so many of these movies, it's a gradual progression from him trying to kill a cat to him actually killing a dog to him taking his sister ice skating and deliberately trying to push her into the thin ice section so she goes through the ice in a scene which I thought was done really well, the ice skating scene, and the shots of the low angle shots of him from behind skating with the sister, presumably obviously doubles, because it's some really slam bang ice skating going on. But that scene's really cool. That's why I'm reviewing this, because as so often is the case, I'm an anal bastard and I tend to like to review movies, winter-related movies during the winter. I'm not going to do a whole hell of a lot of them this year because at this point, I'm just so over winter and I can't even stand winter. And so I'm not going to do a whole hell of a lot of winter-related movie reviews, but this is one of them. So he tries to kill a cat, he kills a dog, and then I can't remember if he does Mr. Highway before or after he kills the dog, but another famous scene from this movie is when Macaulay Culkin takes this, this dummy he stuffed clothes with and, paper mache face or whatever and a hat, and with him and Elijah Wood goes onto a bridge and, pushes this guy off the bridge and causes this huge accident, which was a big scene that they kind of pumped in the trailer or whatever. No one was said to have died in that scene, which kind of is hard to believe. Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny in the movie how they make this scene into such of a mess, but after that, then it's when he tries to kill his sister with the ice skating situation, and at that point, obviously this Elijah Wood character is trying to tell Macaulay Culkin's parents, and, that the son is just this evil devil son, and no one believes him up until there's actually a confrontation with Macaulay Culkin and his mom in the movie, and then she finally understands. And the end of this movie really kind of goes there, and I forgot about this. There's this movie is really filmed in a really cool scenic kind of oceanfront property house thing, and there's this. The mom of Macaulay Culkin being, mournful about the, recent loss of her son, always goes out to this really scary, dangerous high cliff place to just look over the ocean and think or whatever. And the end of the movie, the kind of climax takes place there where, Macaulay Culkin ends up trying to push her over the, when mom finds out that Macaulay Culkin's nuts, he lures mom there and tries to push over the cliff in a cliff. That's the edge of the cliff in one word, but in a scene that's really well done. You get so used to these days just BS CG, computer generated like green screen crap in movies, and to actually see a movie from '93 where they actually did this for real, I don't even know how they pulled off this high stunt cliff scene stuff. It's really, really great compared to movie fakery now. But there's this, at the very end of the climax of the movie, Elijah Wood and Macaulay Culkin are fighting on the cliff, rolling around. Mom manages to climb back up just in time as the kids are going to roll off, both, fighting themselves, and she, of course this is movie fakery, manages to capture them and hold them each by each arm of hers, and she's got them each in an arm, and they're both like hanging on, and oh mom I love you, and of course Macaulay Culkin just tried to push her off the cliff, but he's hanging from himself, or hanging from it himself, so now he's going to put on the act to try to make sure he's saved by mom. And Elijah Wood's hanging from mom's hand, he's slipping. It's this scene that looks really well done, like it looks so real, like perilous, like they're hanging from this huge height. And what's really, I forgot this movie really goes there at the end, if I can spoil it. Basically mom, Elijah Wood keeps slipping and slipping and slipping, and mom just basically chooses to let go of her Macaulay Culkin devil child, evil son, to, basically save Elijah Wood. And we don't, it's cool. When that happened, I'm like, oh man, I forgot this movie really went there. But, so she basically sends her son, hurling onto the rocks below, in the ocean rocks below, and we don't see him splat, but we kind of see presumably a dummy, a bloody dummy on the rocks be swept away. But yeah, the end of the movie is like, oh man, that's really, I didn't know they did that, but that was really cool. So I give this movie props for the way it ended, where mom chooses, Elijah Wood's character over, like, evil son or whatever. So. And again, I think this movie is like only 85 minutes long. Of course, that's including opening and closing credits. So it's a relatively short movie for being an A movie. And I'm not saying that's a problem. It's kind of a refreshing, actually. Movies don't really need to be crazy long if they can say what they have to say in a short period of time. So I couldn't decide whether I wanted to go 2 3/4 or 3 stars. I think, let's just go 3 stars for The Good Son. 3 stars out of 4 stars, just because it's 1993, man. It's freaking movies when what you see on screen is mostly real. I mean, I don't think there's any visual effects or anything in this movie. It'd be other kind of wire, I would imagine wire trickery or whatever to pull off the high stake perilous cliff stunts or whatever. But yeah, just, in my opinion, back when movies were actually decent or whatever, agreeably, I don't see a whole hell of a lot of movies these days, but from what I do see, it just seems to be more of the same, recycled and blah. But anyway, thank you very much for watching my review of The Good Son, something that I would recommend if you can see it free or cheaply or whatever. It's really, really fun to see, Kevin McAllister in this more evil role, and particularly hearing him once again say, don't fuck with me. That was really a hoot. So thank you very much for watching, and as always, we'll catch you next time.